Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the show. We're going to look at Sugar Bowl preview a little bit here on this video. Before we do that, though, if y'all will do me a favor and hit the subscribe button and the like button on our YouTube channel. You can leave comments on our YouTube, guys, if there's something you want to see or any kind of listener or audience feedback. We'd love to hear from you guys and make the show as interactive as we can be. Also, follow us on Twitter, Joey Browning CFB. Follow us on TikTok, Joey Browning CFB. You can also email us, joeybrowningscfb@gmail.com. So, guys, we're going to look at Georgia's defense and a little bit of Ole Miss's offense in this game. Obviously, it's a rematch from October 18th, regular season game that Georgia won. All right, guys. So, we have here first drive of the game it's Alabama's first drive of the game on offense. And we're going to go ahead and get into the film here and show you a few things. So Georgia's obviously, they played a lot more man coverage. Georgia wants to play man. If you look at their history under Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann, they really want to play as much man coverage as they can. And I mean, that really helps free up the box. They can do things in the box differently if they can play some more man. So they played a lot more man against Alabama this second time around and made things a lot more difficult for Ty Simpson in terms of him being able to have free access to get the ball out of his hand quickly and on time. And that changed a good bit of what Alabama's success was in the first game to the second game. They did not have that happen. Guys, also, just some of these guys for Georgia, if you've watched them a lot this year, they've really grown up. In all these clips, I know I'm going to hit some different parts of the defense, different levels of defense, but the D line, the guys up front, if you just watch how physical they've become, how they use their hands, how they play with leverage, how they understand the leverage. And I mean, Georgia plays so many different looks and fronts, and they stem a lot. And for those guys to be coached up enough to understand where their leverage is and where they have help is very impressive to watch. So here, Alabama, they're trying to establish a run game early. You just got a little, this is duo. Okay, you've got a tight end backside. You're working these double teams. Nobody's really coming off any double teams. And if you watch here, I mean, Alabama has some success, but Georgia's getting hats to the box. You see Corey Thomas there. I mean, he's the same level as C.J. Allen and Raylan Wilson here, and those guys are really, they're trying to get as many hats into that box as they possibly can. So, all right, Alabama's trying to run a little bit of split zone here, and here's where you really start to see, like I said, those hands up front. If you watch 52, if you watch Raylan Wilson here, he's freed up, right? Because they don't Alabama they're not clean on the split. The tight end trying to get over, he bumps into the tackle there because Christian Miller resets the line of scrimmage there, pushes the tackle back. He hits the tight end. Raylan Wilson is freed up, and he hits the back right at the line of scrimmage. Also, another guy that's really grown up and plays a ton, Chris Cole. I'll show you here on the back end view. Chris Cole, number 9. I mean, he is just an unreal athlete if you watch him. And he's really, he's one of those dudes that he's grown up a ton, having to play a lot this year. And you can see how the reps have really helped him. I mean, center's trying to come off. I'm sorry, the backside guard's trying to come off on zone, climb to him. He just uses his hands and he gets in there and helps make the play with C.J. Allen. Obviously, C.J. Allen is over his knee injury that he had, and he's playing much more like his old self. All right, so this is, I think if you watch the first Alabama game to the second Alabama game that Georgia played this year, this is a good example of how this team has grown on defense. So Alabama's just, they're showing a little bit of eye candy, and they're trying to get the ball in the hands of one of their receivers here, Latsier Brooks, and they're just trying to, they've got numbers to this perimeter, to the field side, and they're trying to just give him basically it's turnaround jet sweep is all it is. They use yo-yo motion, boomerang motion, whatever you want to call it, have him come back where he started, They're turning around and handing it off. And Ellis Robinson just comes up and forces this thing. If you also watch C.J. Allen, he's tracking from inside out, and they understand the leverage they have, right? Ellis Robinson knows he's got help inside, so he's attacking hard outside, and C.J. Allen's running from inside out, and they got that thing pinned. And just a really good play right there by Ellis Robinson. And once again, up front, this is one of those plays where your D line's supposed to be sort of neutralized because they're getting the ball on the perimeter. And this is your perimeter guys on defense, your secondary guys coming up and making plays right here for Georgia. Just really impressive right there to get off the field on 3rd and short, which they could not do in the first game, if you remember. In Alabama, in this game, they couldn't buy a 3rd down conversion because Georgia just kept them in 3rd and longer. And then even in 3rd and short, Alabama did not have the confidence to run the ball to get first downs. All right, so the next drive here. So this is the kind of stuff I think that correlates to Ole Miss, okay? So Alabama's just running that condensed split up top. They're running a snag concept. Georgia's zoning it off, playing cover 3. You can see Dalen Everett, number 6 there. He's got zone eyes. He's looking at the quarterback. DeMello Jones, corner on this side. He's got zone eyes, looking at the quarterback. Ja'Cory Thomas, free safety, back deep middle. And you've got KJ Bolden, strong safety here. He's kind of robbing the middle of the field there, the underneath, the rat in the hole, if you will. And it's cover 3. And this is the ball quick out of Ty Simpson's hands. The pass rush doesn't have time to be there. It's a rhythm throw. His back foot hits. The ball is out. This is the type of stuff that Ole Miss really hurt Georgia on in the first game. And if you can catch Georgia in some zone, like this cover 3 look, then this is the type of stuff that I think Ole Miss should try to do to hurt this Georgia defense. Because Georgia, like I said, they've played so much more man here lately, and they've been so much better being physical up front that they've kind of shut down a lot of free access stuff. But this right here is one of Alabama's best drive starters of the game. They throw the snag right there and get a first down right out of the gate. And, that's something that I think Ole Miss is going to have to try to do. They don't want to live in 3rd and long, right? Just like if you watch this game, what got Alabama in trouble, they lived in a lot of 3rd and long, and Georgia really forced them to make perfect plays on 3rd and long, and they really couldn't do it consistently. So Alabama's under center here. Okay, they're just running. Once again, they're trying to run a little split zone. They're dragging that inside receiver to the left there. They're dragging him across the formation to try to split the D-gap defender. You've got a tight end. I mean, basically what this is duo, right? They're double teaming everybody on the line of scrimmage. Nobody's really climbing to the linebacker level to block. And then you've got the inside receiver coming across the split here, trying to split the D-gap defender. Once again, a lot of this film is going to be looking at the defensive line, looking at this end zone copy. Just watch the hands here of Georgia. Watch Christian Miller here, taking on the double team by the tackle and the tight end. He understands the leverage, okay, that he's got help from Rayshawn Dinkins, the star here. He's got help from Raylan Wilson, the inside linebacker, and he understands he's going to control his gap. He's got hands. He's got that guy pressed. He's playing in his gap right now and just makes a really good play. And then you see Georgia coming from the second level here. I mean, these other guys are all getting in. 94 is getting in there. I mean, DeMello Jones, KJ Bolden coming from the second level. They're really getting hats to the ball, and they're just playing technique up front. They're playing with very physical, heavy hands on the D-line, and they're controlling their gaps, and they make it really tough to get any type of movement and then any type of opening for the back to hit anything. Georgia just closes everything up so quick, it seems like. All right, so Gabe Harris makes a great play right here. Right? Gabe Harris it seems like he's not going to play in the Sugar Bowl. He's got a turf toe deal going on. But this is more of an overall defensive play by the Georgia defense too. So they're running a power read concept. So what they're going to do here, Alabama, a lot of times on power read, you'll read the last guy on the line of scrimmage. So like here, you'd read the C gap defender. So A, B, C gap. You could say that Raylan Wilson's a C gap defender. That's who you're going to read on power read. they block him on this play, and Ty Simpson is reading C.J. Allen. So what you're going to have happen is C.J. Allen is going to play the sweep. They're going to put the ball in the belly of the back here, and he's going to run a sweep. And when C.J. Allen commits to going to tackle the back, Ty Simpson's going to pull it, and they're running power inside for the quarterback. The guards are going to pull, and he's going to try to hit it inside. So you can see there, they block Raylan Wilson with the tight end. They arc to him. C.J. Allen, his eyes are on the back. He starts to play the back. So Ty Simpson sees this opening up right here. This is his lane to run into, right? That's where he's supposed to be going. But Gabe Harris says, hello, nice to meet you. If you watch Gabe Harris, he's the backside defensive end here, okay? He's playing in like a 4-eye. He slants hard into A. He's trying to get into B gap right there. The center blocks back on him, and he just comes off and makes a freaking incredible play on power read and really kind of set the tone for the rest of this game for Georgia's defense. So I know they're probably going to be missing him in the Sugar Bowl, but they roll a lot of guys up front, and they've been playing a lot of guys up front on the D-line. So I think Georgia's physicality there and their ability to play with their hands and be physical, that's not going to be any different without Gabe Harris. And he's a really good player. All right, then you're in 3rd and long. We said this: if you're Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl, you can't live in 3rd and long against this Georgia defense right now, because here's what they want to show you, right? This exotic simulated pressure stuff. So you've got like what some people call a penny front, right? Basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, one inside backer, and then you've got like a man-free sort of look here with the corners, safety, the free safety deep in the middle of the field. But really, if you're Ty Simpson here, you're sitting here in like 3rd and 9. You really don't know where the pressure's coming from. And you really don't know for Georgia, are they zoning this off? Or are they going to play man like they're showing here? So you see Georgia, they rush Chris Coles up top. He's that walked-up guy. They rush him off C-gap up top. And they're going to loop 33, okay, right here. They're going to loop him and stunt him back inside. He's going to end up going through backside A-gap and getting the quarterback pressure right here. And really, they just collapse the pocket, right? They push, push, push. Both tackles are really, really under duress right here from the edge rush. In Alabama, what they're trying to do, they try to stack these receivers so that Georgia can't really play man and don't feel comfortable playing man. And you can kind of see what happens here. The one guy, Brooks, Latsier Brooks, 17 right there, he goes vertical and outside releases. They try to hit the inside release here. I believe that's Bernard. Yep. But KJ Bolden does a great job of kind of robbing this thing, and it's flat-footed. He's reading through the defender to the quarterback. He sees that cross coming. And really what they do here, they make Ty Simpson under duress, under pressure, make this perfect throw on 3rd and 10, and he can't do it. And so Georgia's really been doing a good job of that here lately. Just being physical. Getting people in these 3rd and longs, and you can't really live in 3rd and long against them because they're going to make you make a perfect throw and a perfect catch under duress and under really tight coverage. So Alabama here, they're trying to run counter. So they're going to motion in their tight end out here. They split him out at number 1. They're going to motion him in on the move, and they're running counter with the guard pulling and the tight end, is going to insert and try to get to the linebacker level. We'll look at this one from the end zone copy too. All right, and right here, once again, watch how physical Georgia is. They're rolling guys here. So now 99's in, 90's in. Check out the hands and check out the gap integrity right here, right? So we're taking on a double team on counter. We're taking on the center's block back. We're taking on the tight end trying to block down and basis right here. The guard's trying to kick 99, and he splits the double team. And then Rayshawn Dinkins, the freshman star right here, he sticks his face in there and kind of helps force things back in. The sniffer right here for Alabama, the tight end, if you watch him, he really kind of fits this wrong. He really should get up in here and insert and mark to Raylan Wilson, but he misses. Raylan Wilson sitting right there, waiting on the back. Bam, goes in there and hits it right in the face. And once again, Georgia's just their physicality up front, the way they use their hands, the way they're staying in their gaps and playing with gap integrity and flying to the football. Um, they are a younger defense. It's played a lot of young guys. You can tell in the second half of the season they've really sort of those guys have grown up and started to play much more physical and much more confident. All right, another deal here, Alabama. Georgia's going to switch it up a little bit. They're going to play a zone look, okay? So they're dropping here. They're playing sort of like uh, almost it's a cover two look, really, is what it is. If you see the corners, Everett and Robinson here, they're kind of playing, just sitting in the flat, being, not really, they're aggressive to stuff underneath and kind of letting stuff sort out behind them. Bama hits the check down here. Simpson hits the check down because Georgia's got everything kind of zoned off and dropped 7 here. But Chris Cole, the inside backer, driving on that and making that tackle in space. I mean, this is the type of play that in a college football game like this, you'll see often that check down to the back, that little simple, there'll be a broken tackle right there. He'll get 3 or 4 more yards, and they'll be in a third and manageable. But now, because he makes that tackle, and he hits him, and he makes a tackle right where he hits him and contacts him, it's 3rd and 4 instead of like 3rd and 1 or maybe a first down. And that's going to keep Alabama, from potentially being able to get off the field. And so I think Georgia's going to be very important in this game for their defense to have success. They need to tackle Ole Miss and be able to tackle them in space like Chris Cole did right there. All right, so Georgia kind of sticks here with their. This is a little bit of a. I mean, this is still a man look. They're playing man free. Ja'Cory Thomas, number 20, there is getting in the middle of the field. He's freed up. Everybody else is manned up, and they just hit Ryan Williams right here. And these are the types of plays that Ole Miss is probably going to have to make against man coverage on 3rd downs, because Georgia's not going to just give them that free access by playing a lot of zone, probably. And Ryan Williams catches this thing and makes a great play after the catch. And like I said, this is probably the type of stuff that Ole Miss is just going to have to do in this game to take on, to move the sticks and be able to kind of keep drives going and keep drives alive. But Alabama's doing a little shifting of motion in here. They're going to end up right now, they're unbalanced. They brought the tight end over, got all 3 receivers here. And then they're going to motion Brooks back across the formation. They pull the guard, get a little guard pull protection here. And they're trying to work, like a deep comeback here to Horton. And Ellis Robinson, once again, playing with a lot of confidence here lately. He's right on top of that thing. And kind of sits on it. He doesn't really feel threatened there vertically by Horton and breaks on it underneath and makes a good play on that ball. Kind of see it here from the end zone look as well. All right, here, Bama once again. In this game, they did a lot of shifting and stuff. They line up and kind of scatter the formation, getting something completely different. All right, so this is a concept that Ole Miss threw a lot in the first game, sort of a stick concept here. They'd get an empty and do it or trips and do it. But number 3 is just trying to work it. He's trying to basically he's going to run almost like a hitch outside of the number 3 low defender, and the quarterback's supposed to throw him away from that defender. And you can see here, Chris Cole's covering that pretty good. Georgia's playing man. Okay. And up top, Ja'Cory Thomas just makes a really good play. The back out of the backfield. Alabama put Jeremy Bernard at running back here and try to get it to him in a mismatch against Ja'Cory Thomas. And Ja'Cory Thomas, I mean, he comes from depth and just makes an unbelievable open field tackle. And so now, once again, instead of it being like 3rd and 1 or 2, because Ja'Cory Thomas makes that tackle right where he does, it's 3rd and 6. And so once again, Georgia making those open field tackles in space against really, really good playmakers with the ball in their hand. I mean, Jeremy Bernard's been Alabama's guy all year with the ball in his hand. And Ja'Cory Thomas just makes an unbelievable play right there to to save that and get it to third and medium, get it to third and long. And now Alabama's trying to convert again, and here's Georgia again, mugged up, exotic. 5 dudes walked up the line of scrimmage. You don't know who's coming and who's dropping. You don't know if they're playing some type of man free, right? It almost looks like a picket fence here with KJ Bolden playing free safety in the middle of the field. You don't know if they're going to play zone. This is what you don't want to be in if you're Ole Miss. In Georgia here, they zone this thing off, right? They zone it off, and Ty Simpson is confused. He's off rhythm. He's off time. I mean, he's trying to throw the dig here to Horton, and it's really not there, right? KJ Bolden's kind of playing that rat in the middle of the field. He's robbing underneath the dig, and then you also have Dalen Everett over the top, and Everett picks it, right? This is the kind of stuff, once again, if you're Ole Miss, you cannot live in this in third down. You just can't. If you try to live in third and medium and third and long, the way that Georgia's playing right now, with confidence, with physicality, with being able to run a lot of exotic stuff, you're going to have to live in third and manageable. You're going to have success running the ball in early downs. You're going to have to take what they give you when they give you the free access. And if not, you're going to be in big trouble, okay? Because if you you saw what Alabama did in this game. They lived in third and 6 to 10, and Georgia, that's exactly what they wanted. They wanted to get in those exotic looks, confuse the quarterback, get him off time, get him off rhythm, get pressure with the pass rush, and then, force bad throws, force the quarterback to get out of the pocket and throw it away, get sacks, affect the quarterback. That's really what Georgia wants to do, and they're doing it much more here often as they've gained a lot of confidence with some young guys playing. All right, so once again, this is another third down look here. And this is just an example of how Georgia, they've got these young guys in, they've got them reps all year, and they've started incorporating them in their scheme and getting much more confident. So Zayden Walker right here, number 10, the freshman inside linebacker. I think he played 5 snaps in this game, okay? And so that just goes to show Georgia's no investment's too small in one of these dudes and getting reps and kind of using them. And this guy has become a weapon in terms of the pass rush, and on passing downs. They're going to get him in there. And so they're going to run a little stunt with him right here. And this just kind of goes to show how Georgia's evolved this defense this year. So they're just going to, the D line, they're slanting, okay, 90 and 0. They're slanting across, okay, into into both A gaps here, and then he's going to loop all the way around into backside B and put it on Ty Simpson, right? I mean, this is just the type of stuff, these types of stunts. It's bound to become a staple here the second half of the season for Georgia, and it's made life really tough on these quarterbacks that they. All right, so we're going to take a little bit of a look at Ole Miss offense in the last game against Tulane. So, guys, we were talking about, free access throws against zone coverage. So you look here, the Ole Miss is going to work the hitch here. They got an off corner. And, this is the type of stuff that Ole Miss wants to try to, it's an easy, not an easy throw, but it's easy for Trinidad Chambliss to know where he needs to go with the ball against this look. And you can see that they're playing zone, right? Like right now, you can tell. I mean, this is a zone coverage look, okay? Whether it's quarters or cover 3, whatever the corner's playing off, he's got the leverage to throw the hitch, and so he knows right now pre-snap that that's where he's going with it, okay? So, and Stripling, number 1, is really good at catching the hitch and doing work after. If you watch the first Georgia game, that first possession of the second half, he caught that thing and took it to the house. Number 1 is a problem with the ball in his hands because he can run. And I know this is against Tulane, but it doesn't matter who it's against. You saw what he did against Georgia's defense on that long touchdown. That's an issue that Georgia, once again, they're going to try to solve that with playing man and getting down in his face and trying to take away that free access throw for Chambliss to just catch the snap and throw it out there. But, that's something that Georgia's going to have a plan for. And this is something that Ole Miss is going to have to be able to execute, I think, to have success. Because that was their biggest thing in the first game was keeping him on time, keeping Chambliss on time in terms of catching it and throwing it and getting the ball out. So, Ole Miss here, this is just a play action deal, okay? It is not an RPO. This is straight up play action. So, he's putting the ball in the running back's belly. And they're going to hit the tight end, or I'm sorry, yeah, it's going to end up being the tight end. Yeah, right there. There's your tight end on the shallow. They've cleared it out over here. They've run goes. And once again, this kind of makes it, this is an easy declared throw for Chambliss because they're going to clear everybody out over here. Okay? They're going to clear everybody out. And then he's going to run across the shallow. Everything's cleared out, right? They've run these dudes off, and it's easy. He's just run through the zone coverage. Once again, this is one of those deals that, this can be good against man or zone, okay? Depending on if they're playing some type of quarters coverage or cover three. Probably wouldn't be so good against like a cover two or something with the corner squatted out there. But everybody here is run off. And, this is something like if Georgia plays a lot of man, you might see Ole Miss do more of, okay? Because you've cleared everybody out and you're running a guy across the field away from his man, okay? And it's an easier, he can separate easier from that, right? He's running away from his guy instead of trying to run by him vertically. So, a horizontal crossers, mesh, shallow cross, just clearing stuff out and running to shallow. Those are good man beaters that if Georgia plays the man, in this game, might be an answer for Ole Miss. I believe Ole Miss has to be able to run the football. Once again, here's Kejuan Lacey. I think he's a difference maker. Now, he is injured. He got hurt in this game. It's a shoulder. There's some reports out there that it's a separated shoulder. Whether he gives it a go in the Sugar Bowl, don't really know. But in the first game against Georgia, he only had, I think, 30-something yards rushing. He did score, I believe, a couple times, at least once in that game. But he's got 21 rushing touchdowns on the year. He is a weapon. He is a problem. And so I think that's big for Ole Miss. It's going to be big. His availability in this game is going to be big because if he can go and that shoulder is not a big issue, I think Ole Miss has a much better shot of being able to have a sustainable running game. I don't think Ole Miss is running for 200 yards in this game. I don't think that's part of the plan. But they can run for 100, and they could keep the ball away from Georgia, and they could keep Georgia a little bit back on their heels in terms of their aggression of their pass rush and showing those exotic pressures, then that's going to help them be successful on offense. And so you can see what Lacey can do with the ball in his hands right here. I mean, they're just running. I'm going to roll it back really quickly. So it's just all it is long trap that Ole Miss is running right here. So they're taking everybody is blocking down here on the right side, and they're pulling the guard to kick that C-gap defender, and then Lacey's looking to hit it vertical like that. And once again, I think for Ole Miss to have the shot they want to win this game and to be successful on offense, Lacey needs to have a big game. And his availability, that shoulder, whether maybe he can go, but maybe it's something where that shoulder is, really limits him. And if he's limited, I think that really hurts because I think there's a big drop off. You can see here, I mean, they're running gap scheme run, first play of the second drive here. And, I mean, you can see how they motion, get numbers in the box, get the sniffer in there, and they're just running ISO. So, ISO, all you're doing when you run ISO, you're isolating. Tackle's going to block the C gap defender. He's going to block the B gap defender. The center is one on one with the nose. Then you might get a double team on this end, but ultimately you're just ISOing. Okay, it's isolation, and you're bringing in that sniffer to ISO the linebacker and lead block against the linebacker. So there you go. And he's just hitting it. And Lacey, once again, man, he's got some burst. He can get down the field really quick. Georgia's going to have to contend with that if if he's a full go participant in this game, and once again in the first game, he was kind of limited in production, but he did score and he did punch it in down there at the goal line. And so, I think that's something that Ole Miss is going to have to, be able to rely on. Here they're just working a boot concept. So you get Chambliss is a really athletic guy. They're getting him on the run. They're getting the back involved in the boot, and they hit the crosser. This is the type of stuff when Ole Miss is getting, 3, 4, 5 yards on first downs. They're going to go with tempo and kind of hit you with, and try to get, the quarterback off his spot, and that's going to slow down the pass rush as well, right? If we saw in the Georgia tape, that you got to do something to slow that pass rush down and slow down those exotic pressures, or you're going to be in trouble back there. You're going to be a sitting duck with a quarterback trying to stand back there and throw it downfield with all that stuff going on. So we'll move a little bit ahead here. It's just Ole Miss drop back game right here. Y'all remember we talked about Alabama threw that snag concept early in the game against Georgia against his own. This is the same exact thing right here. They're going to run a snag concept here to the boundary. They're just going to use the back, right? The back's getting out. He's the bubble guy. He's the flat guy. There's your snag by number 1. Easy to catch and throw. The same play that Ty Simpson threw in that, I think it was the first play of the second drive against Georgia in the SEC championship. That's the type of stuff that Ole Miss got to do on early downs and catch Georgia in zone like this and try to take advantage of that, get the ball out of Chambliss's hands really quickly. I think that's going to be a huge key in this game for Ole Miss is getting the ball out of his hands and giving him those pre-snap looks where, hey, we got open access, we can get the ball out. And then obviously running the football and their RPO stuff. They've got to be able to run the ball with Kevon Lacey and Chambliss, or I think they're going to be in trouble in this game. All right, let's see. Concept right here that Ole Miss is working. So they're getting measures from these two receivers. They're going to cross the middle of the field close enough to slap each other's hands. You're going to have another guy run a 10-yard over the ball route, and you're going to have the back get out into the flat. So Chambliss he's looking to really throw the back here. Tulane zones this off pretty good, but this is the type of stuff that you see this free runner off the edge, okay? Ole Miss probably really wants to avoid this type of stuff as much as they can, but then this is also a good example in this play of what Chambliss can do when things break down, and he can use his legs. So just watch Chambliss on this. Avoid the rush, and then he rolls to his right. His eyes stay downfield. When he breaks the pocket, he's trouble because he's such a good runner, but he also keeps his eyes downfield to throw, right? Instead of just watching the rush and trying to pull it down to run it. I mean, you can see there, it's a really good job. And he hits Stripling again. And once again, that guy's a problem with the ball in his hands. All right, guys. So that's our breakdown of Georgia's defense and Ole Miss's offense for the Sugar Bowl. Really excited to watch this one because I think it's a rematch and it's a good matchup. And it's stylistically, it should be another really entertaining game to watch, just like the first game was. So once again, guys, before I go, just remind you to subscribe and like us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter and TikTok. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever it may be. I want to thank you for joining us, and looking forward to recapping these quarterfinal games with you as soon as they end. So appreciate you guys being with us. Happy New Year to you.